Today in this video I'm going to show you how to use Swagger in a Spring Boot project. So in this video I'm not going to create a Spring Boot project separately. I'm going to use existing Spring Boot project which I've developed earlier. If you are new to the channel, I suggest you watch the previous videos in the series. Link is in the description below. Now let's start with the video. Swagger is an open source project used to generate REST API documentation for RESTful web services. It has few uses, like it is used to design the API, it is used to develop the API, and it is used to document the API. And also we can test it from the Swagger UI portal. So it provides the Swagger UI portal where we can see the documentation of the API, where we will see all the details of the API, like API version, API description, every endpoint description and all. What is the response code of the API? What is the request type? What is the request body? What is the response body? What is the error response and all? And we can test it from there also. So this is one of the main advantage of using Swagger. One is the documentation of the API. Also we can test it from the Swagger UI portal. And third, let's suppose if there are front-end teams working parallelly and they want, or any API consumer, they want details of the API. So instead of giving the manually written API details documentation, you can just send the URL of the Swagger, and from there they can access it and they can see all the details, right? So now let's dive into the implementation without wasting any time. So let's first add the dependency in POM file. So I've already kept dependencies in my notepad and also the configuration file. So just copy paste. I will just copy paste this dependency and add it in POM file. You can use the same dependency. The next thing is we will enable the Swagger in the main application class. So there is this annotation called enable Swagger. So let's add this annotation here. And also there is one configuration code we have to add. I've already kept it in the notepad. Let's just copy paste. Yeah, things curly braces missing. Yeah, so here in this configuration code we have to define the docket which we'll use to configure the Swagger actually. And here in this base package we have to mention the base package of this. This should be same, otherwise it won't work. So now we are done with the configuration and dependencies. I think we are good to start the application and see if Swagger is working fine or not. Let's start the application. API is already developed, as I've already told you. So people who are new to the channel, I suggest you watch the previous series which will show you how to create the Spring Boot project and REST APIs in Spring Boot. Okay, so now the application has been started. Let's go to browser and see if Swagger is opening or not. So our application is running on localhost port 8080, and we have to see Swagger is opening or not. So let's write Swagger. To open the Swagger, we have to write Swagger URL swagger UI.html, and as you can see the Swagger is working fine. So as of now in our application we have only one controller, user controller. So Swagger automatically extract the information by these annotations: REST controller, request mapping, post mapping, get mapping, and all. Right. So as you can see, we have only one controller. So we are it is showing us only one controller, user controller. When we click on it, it will expand and show us all the endpoints in this API. So we have total 5 APIs. To confirm, let's check in the code base. We have 5 APIs. One is save user, second is get fetch user by ID, third fetch all user, fourth update user, fifth delete user. Same APIs are there, same APIs are here also. So this is the API documentation actually. Here we can do a lot of things, like we can add description of the API, we can add version of the API, and we can add description of the particular endpoints also. So I'm not going to show that to you. I want you guys to do this changes and let me know in the comment below if you face any issues. So let's come to the usage of Swagger. So Swagger has some usage like API designing, API development, API documentation, API testing. So here we have seen API documentation. Now we are going to see API testing. The designing and development of the API will not be part of this video. I will make a separate video for that. In this video we will see only the documentation and testing part. So let's check any one of the endpoint like fetch all user or fetch user by ID. Expand it. So as you can see, it has all the details. It has extracted all the details. The response type, content type, parameter, request parameter needed. What are the possible response codes we can get? Unauthorized, forbidden, not found, and all. So when we click on try out, it will call the actual endpoint fetch user by ID. This endpoint, and if user exists with the particular user ID, then it will show us the result. Otherwise, we will get error response. So let's try out. So it is asking for a user ID. We haven't passed it. So let's give the random number 29. If user exists with the ID 29, we will get the result. Otherwise, we will get the error response. Let's click on the try it out. So we got the response, but this is the error response. As you can see, error code user not found. User is not available with the ID provided. Let's try get another ID 2. Try it out. We got the response. User is available with the ID 2. We can also see the connection, content type, date, keep alive, transfer encoding, and all other metadata of the response. Curl. We also get the curl, so we can test it from the CMD also using this curl or postman. So using Swagger, we have a lot of information to work with. So if someone needs the API details, we can simply send this URL, the base URL, and they can go through all the details of the API. Also, they can test it. So this is it, guys. In this video, we have seen how we can work with Swagger and Spring Boot. So if you find this video helpful, please do like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video.